Hello and thanks for joining us from our studios in Israel. Coming up in today's newscast, 2 more Israeli soldiers have been injured in a terror attack. The Israeli Prime Minister heads to the United States for his last meeting with President Obama, and Israel celebrates some major prize winners. I'm Natasha Kirchak here with the latest news in Israel. Two more IDF soldiers have been lightly wounded after being hit by a Molotov cocktail during a raid in the West Bank early this morning. The soldiers had been carrying out a raid with the IDF in the Dheisheh refugee camp just south of Bethlehem in an effort to arrest 3 men suspected of taking part in violent demonstrations. During the raid, local residents began to throw rocks and firebombs at the soldiers, injuring 2 of them lightly. Israeli forces drove back the assailants with riot dispersal means, and the wounded soldiers are now being treated for their wounds at a Jerusalem hospital. Just a few hours later, the IDF shot down a Palestinian teenager as he was attempting to stab a soldier outside of Hebron. During a search at a checkpoint, the assailant pulled out a knife but was shot before he could injure anybody. The Palestinian Health Ministry has identified him as 16-year-old Issa Salem Tarera, who is allegedly related to terrorist Mohammed Tarera, who stabbed the 13-year-old Israeli girl Halel Ariel to death in her bed in June. Meanwhile, the 38-year-old Israeli policewoman who was seriously injured in a stabbing attack on Monday outside Jerusalem's Old City is still in serious but stable condition. The head of the trauma unit at Shaarei Tzedek Medical Center says her life is not in immediate danger, but is stressing that her injuries are grave. The police officer has undergone complicated surgery on her spinal column, which was hit by the knife when she was attacked. The extent of her injuries will only be determined in the days to come. Well, it's that time of year when the UN General Assembly reconvenes. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu is heading to the United States this afternoon with an action-packed 5-day agenda that includes his annual address to the world body and his last official meeting with U.S. President Barack Obama. The premier will kick off his visit by holding talks with the outgoing American leader in Manhattan tomorrow, for what is expected to be their 17th and final sit-down in their current positions. According to a statement by the Prime Minister's office, Netanyahu will first and foremost deliver a personal thank you for the unprecedented $38 billion American defense package that was just signed. He also intends to discuss various challenges and opportunities in the Middle East and ways to advance peace and security. The White House has affirmed the need to discuss the genuine advancement of a 2-state solution to the Israeli-Palestinian conflict, amid, quote, deeply troubling trends on the ground. On Thursday, Netanyahu is slated to address the General Assembly right after Iranian President Hassan Rouhani and Palestinian Authority President Mahmoud Abbas make their own speeches. While at the UN, he will also meet with another leader at the end of his tenure, Secretary General Ban Ki-moon, in addition to several other heads of state. The Israeli Prime Minister will include a stop at a special exhibit entitled The Final Piece, opened by the Israeli UN mission. The display features drawings created by late Israeli Defense Force Lieutenant Hadar Golden, whose body is still being held by Hamas along with the remains of another soldier, Oron Shaul. Both soldiers were killed in the 2014 Gaza conflict. During his American summit, Netanyahu is reportedly being accompanied by Finance Minister Moshe Kahlon, his media advisor Ran Baratz, and the man considered to be one of his closest advisors, Michael Oren. Oren currently serves as the Jewish state's deputy minister for diplomacy following a stint as ambassador to the U.S. As we've previously reported, the military defense agreement between Israel and Washington has just been signed. While many are hailing the finalization of this memorandum of understanding as a great breakthrough, former senior Israeli diplomat in Washington Lenny Ben-David told ILTV's Aaron Viner that there are 2 sides to this agreement.
Very important sides. The one which is getting a lot of attention and which is remarkably important to Israel's security is the 10-year plan of supplying Israel with funds for military equipment. This will allow us to buy new aircraft, to set up missile defense, to be involved in all kinds of security elements facing ISIS, facing Iran. And it's a very positive, well worked on agreement. But what was not seen was the president issued a statement parallel to the agreement in which he ties the military assistance in Israel's security to the peace process with comments that suggest that the United States, before he leaves, may even raise this as part of a UN resolution. When he says, and quote, there have been negative trends on the ground, this is very difficult to understand. Why, when time when we're discussing about Israel's security, he wants to make Israelis more insecure, and suggesting that the settlement issue may be a problem for him before he leaves office.
Are you saying that the stipulations within the MOU could possibly motivate even greater Palestinian resistance to reviving the peace talks as a possible way of inflicting greater harm on Israel?
I won't go that far, but what I will say is that the Palestinians may take out of the statement, that they can count on the United States to pressure Israel. That instead of sitting down face to face with the Israelis, they will wait for their savior to come in the form of the United Nations. So far, the Arab attention has been only on the large package of the military aid. And that, as the NSC advisor, Ms. Rice, Dr. Rice, said, shows strong ties between the two countries. But the analysis will come when people will look at the president's statement and see the implied warnings that if there's no movement on the peace process, then it could affect the security. The two he actually links together.
Does Washington still expect Israel to negotiate with Palestinian Authority President Mahmoud Abbas when he is already 11 years into his 4 year term and clearly looking to step down from office?
I don't think Washington expects anything in the next few months of the Obama administration. What I fear is that they would like to put a stake in the ground or to project a policy that they will continue, that will be continued in Washington. At the end of a Reagan administration, George Shultz recognized the PLO. So it didn't affect the Reagan administration, it affected the United States policy subsequent to that. So I think that's what they're looking to do, because even they understand that the Abbas administration, the Abbas government, is falling apart, that there is no clear line of succession there, and that the Palestinian cities themselves, whether it's Nablus or Ramallah and Hebron, all have separate political entities, and there's no way that there's a coalescing of these cities to form a Palestinian identity. And so they don't have a client, and Israel doesn't have a partner.
What does this ultimately mean for the peace process?
I think that some people are starting to look for a alternative or for a change in the peace process, and that is to find steps to take that are confidence building steps, to work with Arab governments in the region who can then influence the Palestinians. The priority of the Arab world has long ago ceased to be the Palestinian predicament. The number of Palestinian refugees is dwarfed by the number of refugees from Syria. The Palestinian so-called refugees have the highest life expectancy in the Arab world, the highest levels of education, and look instead to where the Syrian refugees are. And the Arab attention is shifting. And then when you have the Palestinian internal politics with Hamas playing ball with Iran and possibly even with ISIS in the Sinai, the Arab world is not interested in this any longer. And the Palestinians are very much pushed down to the bottom of their priorities.
The American embassy in Tel Aviv is apparently embarrassed after it inadvertently included a West Bank product in its annual gift package for the upcoming Jewish New Year. The offending item was a kosher bottle of Cabernet Sauvignon wine, made by the Zion Winery in Ma'ale Adumim, about a 10-minute drive from Jerusalem. Because the city is just over the 1967 lines, Washington considers it to be a West Bank settlement, which is opposed by the United States. The embassy was quick to point out that the holiday gesture was well intended and that the inclusion of the beverage does not signal any change in foreign policy. One official explained that the baskets were purchased as completed packages, which the embassy failed to inspect before distributing. The festive holiday item was sent to a number of Israeli associations, including Peace Now, which actively campaigns against a settlement enterprise. The Times of Israel is reporting that the left-wing group views the incident as an honest mistake and noted that it doesn't intend to whine about it. With Israeli actress Gal Gadot having been cast as Wonder Woman and Israel's Anya Bookstein appearing on Game of Thrones, there's no doubt that 2016 has been a very successful year for Israeli actors. So who's working behind the scenes to promote the next Israeli Hollywood star? Karen Elrom and her partner have created Cast Israel, a non-profit association with one goal: to get as many Israeli actors as possible into international productions. And she's here to tell us all about it. Thanks so much for coming in.
Thank you for having me.
Great. So how did you come up with this idea?
It's a combination. First of all, we want to have more job opportunities for Israeli actors all over the world. The world is so big and Israel is so small, and we really want to not export them, but make sure that everyone knows that we have great actors and the value of them and they can work. And also, when they work abroad, they're being an ambassadors for Israel, good ambassadors for Israel. I mean, we've noticed Gal Gadot, and I think every actor that goes and does an interview, sorry, he says he's from Israel, and his eyes are all lighting up, and he can talk about it, and people want to listen to him and hear what he has to say about Israel, and we love it. I mean, we love the idea. So we really want to have a mix of it and have people know good things about Israel. That's the thing.
Absolutely. Well, I mean, definitely somebody like Gal Gadot as Wonder Woman was a huge ambassador for Israel because, you know, she's become a superstar in the United States now, and she comes from here. So tell us about what you guys do. You're not an agency, you're an association. So how does that work?
We're a non-profit association, because it's bigger than us. I mean, we've started out and we realized that it's like a mission in some way, because we want to make good contact with casting directors all over the world, directors themselves, and make sure that they invite Israeli actors to audition to their project. It can be a film or TV series or even a commercial. And we're saying to them, we have so many good talents and so many different looks. What are you looking for? And if you need a foreign actor, not even a foreign, because we have so many languages here. So send us over the job description, and maybe we can help. So that's how it works. This is why it's an association and not an agency.
So you're not taking money for hooking these jobs up, essentially?
No, well, me and my partner are working on this, voluntarily,
Wow,
because it's a mission. Kind of.
So what makes Israeli actors so special compared to actors from other parts of the world?
Well, I think they're unique. I think, first of all, we have unique looks, because it's a melting pot in Israel. I mean, you can have a father from Morocco and a mother from Poland, and you can be, light skin and dark eyes, or the opposite, and we have everything from everything. So that's the first thing, that we can offer you any look that you're looking for, not just the Middle East typical kind of look. And the second, I think, it's the army. The fact that almost everyone did his service, and it makes us different. Our characters are different from, like, if you take a 19-year-old actor from, I don't know, Europe or America, and a 19-year-old actor from here, I think you can see the difference in the motivation to work and the strength and the other thing that everyone all over the world say all the time, that not even in acting, that we're nice to work with. I mean, it's pleasant to work with us.
Right.
So it's all those different things that we can offer you, and just give us the chance. That's the
So
thing.
what are some major success stories that your association has had so far?
Well, for us, every success is by contacting this casting director or whoever is in the industry and starting to work with him. That's the first success for us, because if we change someone's mind and we tell him, come and work with us, and he says, but I never worked with Israel before, why should I work with you now? I mean, who are you? Aren't you, I don't know, in a war? Or aren't you riding a camel or something? So I said, I always say, no, la 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 la. That's why I find myself an ambassador.
Yeah, of course.
And so that's the first success. I opened his mind to send me over a project he's working on, and I can suggest actors. Another success is when I send over an audition for Israeli actors, and we've sent many auditions.
Yeah, can you give us some examples?
Yeah, sure. So, and success by having like someone working, we also do have, and we did a commercial for India. We had contact with a casting director in Bombay, and started working with her, and we casted an Israeli actor, which was terrific. And he flew over there and
That's
shot.
amazing.
Yeah, that's amazing, because he would never have gotten it
Right, of
otherwise.
course.
And we're having contact with all over the world. We have contact with casting directors in the UK, the ones that are doing Games of Thrones.
Wow.
And yeah, and the casting directors of Homeland also.
Which is based on an Israeli show, as
Yeah.
many people know.
Yeah, they did their last season in Israel as well, so they know how Israel is great. But now we were helping them as well. But really, it's getting to every, I don't know, every country we can. It's Germany and India, in Asia and Europe and United States.
Beautiful. So finally, what are your plans for the future? What do you guys hope to accomplish ultimately?
Well, we have many plans.
I can only imagine.
Many plans. Yeah, that's why we're here, because we really want to raise the funds to make it all happen. We really want to bring over casting directors and directors and producers here to meet Israeli actors, to make like mingling evenings and exposure, and to bring him to Israel, even to travel in Israel.
Absolutely.
Israel is good. It's nice. It's not all political and.
It's not all war-torn.
No, and work. I mean, I believe that if someone wants to work with us once, he will work with us again and again and again. And even if in the 10th or 20th time he will take an Israeli actor to a job, it's fine, as long as he's exposed to us. So we really want to bring them over here, and we really want to be able to fly over to audition an Israeli actor. Like if someone says money is a factor, I'll tell them, no, it's not. It's fine. Let me send you an audition, first of all, and if he passes that audition, I'll send him over to you. And we're making a website that will offer casting directors just have a look. All kind of really interesting
Well,
stuff.
I think we're all excited to kind of see the future of this association that you guys have
Yeah.
created. It sounds amazing.
Thank
And
you.
like very good public relations for the state of Israel. And I'm excited to see who makes the next big break. What
Yeah.
Hollywood star we're going to see that's Israeli. Thank you so much for coming in.
Thank you.
All right, guys, if you're interested in donating to Cast Israel to help promote Israeli actors, or if you're simply interested in learning more, email office@castisrael.com. Okay guys, and Israeli has made history not as an actor but as the runner-up in this year's International Transsexual Beauty Pageant. Ms. Ta'alin Abu Hana is a Christian Arab that hails from northern Israel, and she's become an international celebrity since winning the first ever transsexual pageant in Israel last year. Abu Hana was one of 25 candidates who strutted their stuff at the Miss Transstar International Beauty Pageant last week. But unlike many of her competitors who faced discrimination and persecution in their home countries, Abu Hana received full support from the Jewish state. The Israeli Arab beauty queen has made her mark as a first winner of the first ever transsexual beauty pageant in Israel, and says that after transitioning from man to woman, she's found peace between her body and soul. The International Miss Transstar Beauty Pageant has taken place since 2010, and this year Brazil's Rafaela Manfrini took home the crown. Although Abu Hana came in second, she says she wants to take advantage of her success to inspire Arab Israelis with similar transsexual identities to express themselves and not stay trapped in a cage. Many of the candidates in this year's competition have experienced violence and have overcome self-hatred in their quest to transition genders. Miss Sahara of Nigeria, for example, was almost driven to suicide after the repression she faced in her home country. Since 2006, over 2,000 transsexual people have been killed in hate crimes, and today many transsexuals still face huge difficulties in finding jobs. Yet despite the challenges, Israeli beauty pageant star Abu Hana says she will continue her work to promote transsexual rights. Now turning to the 2016 Emmy Award ceremony. We all know the Jewish community has made a huge contribution to the world of entertainment, and it was abundantly on display during last night's show broadcast live from Los Angeles. The annual event honors outstanding achievement in U.S. primetime television programming. So it was no surprise that the blockbuster HBO series Game of Thrones was recognized with 3 awards. But it also made history by breaking Emmy records with its accumulated total of 38. Both of the series' creators are Jewish, D.B. Weiss and David Benioff. But they weren't the only Jews to shine at the Emmys. During his own acceptance speech, the Jewish producer of the Veep satirical show, David Mandel, dedicated the award for Best Comedy Series to chubby Jews from the Upper West Side, or wherever you are. Mandel is renowned for his past involvement in 2 very Jewish programs as producer of Larry David's Curb Your Enthusiasm and a writer of several Seinfeld episodes. The evening took a somber turn during the memorial to all of the stars who passed away this year, including the beloved Jewish actors Gene Wilder, Anton Yelchin of Star Trek, Abe Vigoda, known best for his role in The Godfather, and Feivush Finkel from the Yiddish theater world. Academy Award-nominated Danish director Susanne Bier won an Emmy for her work on the BBC AMC miniseries The Night Manager. Bier studied design in Jerusalem, and she credits her Jewish upbringing with giving her a strong sense of family. But perhaps one of the most intriguing moments of the evening came when actor Jeffrey Tambor reverted to Hebrew, to get more time while accepting his award for Best Actor in a Comedy Series, as a transgender woman in Transparent. When the band signaled he was running too long, the Jewish actor said "Sheket bevakasha," meaning "quiet please" in Hebrew, so he could make an impassioned plea for transgender actors to be given more work in Hollywood.
Sheket bevakasha. I'm not going to say this beautifully, but to you people out there, you producers and you network owners and you agents and you creative sparks, please give transgender talent a chance. Give them audition. Give them their story. Do that. And also, one more thing. I would not be unhappy were I the last cisgender male to play a female transgender on television.
And in case you think we forgot to mention it, no, the master of ceremonies Jimmy Kimmel isn't actually Jewish, although he did date Jewish comedian Sarah Silverman for about 7 years. And now for our Hebrew word of the day. The 2016 Emmy Award ceremony took place just 2 days ago, and the Miss Transsexual International competition happened yesterday. And we here at ILTV want to congratulate the winners. So today's word is pras, which means prize in Hebrew. Who doesn't like to get a pras? Israelis sure do, and we love to tell you all about it. For example, did you know that the second runner-up in Miss Trans International is Israeli? Or that 2 Israelis took home a pras at the Paralympic Games this month? And let's not forget that the Israeli basketball coach David Blatt is about to get a pras of his own, an NBA championship ring for his work with the Cleveland Cavaliers. Of course, life isn't only about winning prizes, but it certainly feels good to get one. So keep your eye on the pras, and even when you close your eyes, don't lose focus. All right, let's go ahead and look at the weather forecast. Wednesday is expected to be sunny with a high of 91 degrees. The clouds should come out by Thursday, with the temperature dropping down to 85. All right, everybody, that's it for today's news. Today's exchange rate is 3.77 shekels to the American dollar. Remember to sign up for our daily newsletter at iltv.tv, and don't forget to check out our next update at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. Thanks for watching, and see you tonight.